So I'm super excited about this. I'm really excited about this because I think like the last few months have been a struggle for a lot of us. And I think that we're all kind of ready to motivate each other, keep each other accountable, use some strategies that are working for some of us. It's always nice in the new year to kind of revamp and think about goals and how we can push each other for them. And some of you are in this, are already have been reading the 12-week year and have already started it or already have finished it. But that was one of the things that I mentioned was download it or order it. You don't have to have it done by a certain date, but I would suggest you to make that your personal development for what you're doing right now, at least for the next, couple of weeks or so. I downloaded it on my Audible. I do Audible, and I just listen to it as I'm doing other things. I love to read, but my life right now doesn't allow me to do the book reading, which I do like to do, but that is the way it is. So that's how I do my personal development. But I've liked this book a lot because it's been super, it gives you some really good tools in how to reach your goals quicker. Because I think the big thing that a lot of us do is just like Success Club, for example, and I've been guilty of it too, is it's the 25th of the month. Oh crap, I haven't hit my goal yet. So I'm going to hustle my butt off and hit my goal by the end of the month. The whole premise of this is that we're not going to do that anymore. Each week is going to serve like a month. Okay. So that's not to say we're going to overextend ourselves by any means, but we're going to work smarter, more efficiently. And that's the whole point, is because we're all busy. We're all super busy. I mean, I'm looking at all of you and I know a lot about your personal lives, and I know that there's a ton of stuff going on. So this is not to overwhelm you, because I certainly can't handle being overwhelmed myself either. And so working efficiently is super important for me. And the other thing is that when you gain control over your time, it's empowering. It makes you feel like, you've gained control of your business, and it feels like you have, I don't know, it's just empowering to help you reach your goals and things like that. So we're going to work on that together. So for tonight, one of the things I had you do was create your vision board. And Erin and I were talking earlier. Erin and I met up for coffee earlier today, and we were kind of bouncing around the idea of maybe, like, for this particular group of people who have said that they wanted to work towards specific goals, maybe just making a small Facebook group just for us to post what we have done, like for accountability purposes, like take a picture of your board so you can share it, that kind of thing. I certainly don't want another group if it's too much for you, but it's an idea that we kind of thought about. It'd be just like a forum for us to put, like, okay, here's a picture of my vision board or whatever, or these are my goals or whatever, some of the things that we'll talk about each week. So that's something to think about. Tonight, just let us know, or let me know, and I can create that if that's a good. Okay, cool. I think it's a good idea, but again, I know some people get overwhelmed with lots of groups. Okay, but I thought it wouldn't be a thing where I'd post a ton of stuff. It'd just be like, all right, accountability for the week. What did you guys do? Like, show us, so that we can all feel a sense of, like, I don't know, there's someone else seeing what you're doing so that you get it done, kind of thing. So I did a vision board myself as well. It's a goal I have had for a long time. I just haven't done it before. But again, the vision board is not just for your business. It's supposed to be for what you see, ideally what your life would look like if you reach all your goals. Is it raining outside? Sorry. If you reach all of your goals, what will your life look like? Okay, so we're talking your health, maybe your family. What would, your financial situation be like? Would you still be working? Would you not still be working? Would you volunteer more at your church? Would you have more date nights? Would you go on more vacations per year? Like, it's supposed to be a fun activity where you just dream about what your life could be like. And the reason we do that is because this has to be like the baseline of why we do what we do. And so that when we're doing our crunch time, this is not just about like, oh, I got this assignment done. There's a purpose to what we're doing, not just helping other people and helping them reach their fitness goals and reaching our own fitness goals, but there's a bigger overarching purpose to what we're doing. And if we can kind of keep those things in mind, it's going to keep us motivated. And also, knowing that we're all in it together, that always helps me a lot, is knowing that there's other people that I can rely on. And that's why I'm super excited about this, because I think we can be a big support system for each other, because I need you just as much as you might need me. It really does help. So, all right, cool. And know how to just chat. You don't know how to chat on Zoom, or you do? Oh, you know how, okay, sorry. Anyway, I'm just going to show you what I cut out magazine pictures on mine, so you can kind of see. I'll take a picture of it and I'll make that Facebook group so you can see it. So I did 4 areas. I did health, and part of my health is getting enough sleep at night. I don't know if some of you struggle with that too. Actually, I don't struggle with it, but for so long, I've been running my business at 4:30 in the morning, and I am convinced that I had a horrible cold for like 6 weeks. It just knocked me on my butt, and my business suffered. And I'm convinced that part of that is I was not getting enough sleep at night. So I know this is going to sound crazy to you all, because you all know I'm a morning person. I am, but I've completely flip-flopped how I'm going to run my business. I've developed business hours that are different. I've talked to my husband about it. He's aware. Looking at my schedule differently. It's just something that I need to do for myself, is I need that sleep. And I've slept a lot over Christmas break, so I feel a ton better. And I have relationships on there. Like the date night is super important for me once a month. It's important for me for us to get a babysitter and us to get out and about and do things like that. And then I have family, like I want to plan a Disney trip this year and pay it off in cash. And go next year, but plan it this year. And then obviously I have my business goals. So that's a little bit more specific. So that's just an example. I'll take a picture of it and put it in the group. So maybe once I create that Facebook group, you guys could all take a picture of yours, or however you created it. It doesn't have to be cutouts from magazines. It could be however you want to do it. No, there wasn't necessarily 4 areas. That's just how I did it. That's just kind of how I compartmentalized it for me. Those were important areas in my life that I want to, that I have specific goals. So that's that. So I will create that maybe after I get off this call. It won't take me too long to do that. Okay. So vision, did everyone get their vision board done, or at least mostly done or partially done? Okay, cool. So if not, get it done this week, and then we'll all post ours so we can kind of see what each of us are looking to do, and it'll be kind of fun to see what all our visions are. I think it'll just be kind of a fun, also getting to know you a little bit better activity, because I think we all have a lot of similarities, but we also have some differences. Most of us, if not all, most of us have children in this group, so there's usually some goals that go around that. Okay, so the other thing was obviously the 12-week year, and I think most of you, if not all of you, have it downloaded or ordered it, so definitely get that going. And then the other thing I talked about was your schedule. This is really important because it happens to me too. Our lives get busy and our schedule just takes over our life. And I'm not talking about the things we need to do. I'm talking about we got to take our kid to basketball practice. We've got a late meeting that day at work. Husband's got to work late, which I have that he has to work late a couple nights a week. And then what happens, that takes over our time. Okay, so the purpose of this is to be a little bit more for us to take control. So that means and Erin and I talked about this today, that means on weekends you have to look at your week ahead schedule. You have to see what's going on, and you have to schedule that time for yourself and be very specific. Like now my kids are getting more involved in sports, and this is a new area for us, is like we're doing more running around, which means some of my time is I'm not at home, and I won't work in the car or anything like that. I have to be at my computer. Sometimes I'll respond to messages on my phone and things like that. So that shifts my time around. So I've already started mapping out my week. Like tomorrow night, Ava has volleyball practice and I assistant coach on that team. So obviously I can't work at that time. So I have to figure out exactly. And then I put it down and I let my family know. So that is something I really want you to start working on this week. That'll be kind of like your part of your assignment this week, is to really look at your schedule. And this needs to be a weekly activity on Saturday or Sunday. Pull out your calendar, map it out, how much you can dedicate to Beachbody, what's reasonable for you, because you do need to have that balance. You don't want this to take over your life because you will get burnt out. But we definitely want you to be efficient. What's a reasonable amount of time, and when can you do it? So you have to determine those things. For me, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it, on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, I am committing myself to 2 hours and 30 minutes on Saturday, 2 hours and 30 minutes on Sunday. And then the weekdays, I have an hour and a half each night, different times of the night, depending on what my schedule looks like. I'm doing it an hour and a half a day at night. That's not including my workout. I will work out in the morning before I go to work because I can do that and take a shower. So that's how I am doing it. And with that, I have developed like daily to-dos, but we will get to that. Don't worry too much about the daily to-dos yet. Because I want you to just figure out your schedule, how much time you think you can dedicate, and then we'll move forward from there. So that's the second thing I want you to do. Now, what I want you to do this week, in addition to your business hours, so to speak, and really looking at your schedule so that you can take control of your schedule, I want you to think about 2 to 3 business goals. And I know some of you have already started talking about, I want to be diamond by X date. I want to be this by this date. Let's think about, since we're doing the 12-week year, let's do and some of us are doing this with Wendy too. So, like Sarah Bry, I know you're in that group and stuff like that. But so we'll kind of duplicate some of those things that we're doing with Wendy, but this is going to be a little bit more personal, I think, because we're doing these Zooms. But what I want you to do is to develop 2 to 3 business goals that you want to reach by the end of March. Okay, so if it's to be diamond, if it's to be star diamond, if it's to hit Success Club every month, or if it's to hit Success Club 10 every month, if you want to reach a little bit higher, whatever it may be, develop 2 to 3 goals. And then with that, I want you to break each goal down. In April, you've done this already. So you're already ahead of the game. You've already got it started because you're in Wendy's group. Break it down by measurable activities that you're going to do each month, and then break it down by the week. Okay. So once you sort of get an outline of that, we're going to talk about, hey, Marty, we're going to talk about exactly what you can do in those business hours that you've identified for yourself. Okay. Because this business is actually pretty simple. It's not easy, but it's pretty simple in the sense that the activities, we can all do these activities. It's just a matter of doing them. And I think, one thing I took from the book, because I'm about 3/4 of the way through the book, is that motivation is actually not a real thing. People that are quote unquote motivated are people that have systems in place. People that have set themselves up for success, meaning they know exactly when they have to do their whatever activity they have to participate in. Like for us, it's our business activities. And it's set up. They have the time set aside. They know exactly what they need to do. They have their office set up or whatever place you have. It's just doing it. Because if you don't have that time set aside and you're like, oh, it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm too tired. But if you in the morning had said, I'm working it from 8 to 9:30, you're going to do it, and you have your list of activities all set up for you. You know what exactly you need to accomplish for the day. It is so much easier to do that than if you get through your day and you're just like, okay, now I got to figure out what am I going to do? Okay, I'm just going to message these few people. Okay, well, maybe I'll just throw out this random post or whatever, which we've all been guilty of that. I've been guilty of that as well. But we're going to be so much more successful if we have systems in place. So that's the whole purpose here. Do you guys have any questions so far about what we're talking about or anything they want to add? All right, cool. So this week, your schedule, your goals. And if you have already created your goals like April has, Sarah Bry already has, I don't know how far along you've gotten to like implementing your schedule and like when you're going to do it and that kind of thing. Maybe the two of you guys can start working on that, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. And what I want to do is I am going to reach out to all of you, like just personal message you guys, just a quick check on how are you guys doing with it. And, just to, that's a good time for you to you can reach out to me anytime, but it's just going to make sure that I'm making a connection with all of you. Like, how are you doing on this? Do you need anything from me? And also to keep you guys accountable that you're staying on track with things. And then every Monday we'll Zoom and I'll have sort of Erin or I or maybe Sarah or any other people in this group if you have other things you want to add. But we'll have a different sort of activity or something for you to push towards for that week. And for it may be more personalized as we start developing your goals, because some of you might have a different goal than the next. So your daily activities might look a little bit different than the next person. So some of it will be personalized to you. This won't all be like, all right, everyone do this activity. No, some of it's gonna be personalized, and we'll talk about that as we move along. But right now we just need to work on those goals. Okay. Does anyone want to add anything or say anything? April or Christy, Sarah, Erin, Missy, Stephanie, any of you guys that have been kind of doing this along the way? Nope. Cool. I'm excited. So anyone want to share part of their vision? Anyone have any cool things to share on here, since I have flown through the things I want to talk about in 20 minutes. Yep, refocus, get back on that. Yep. And what I will do, one of the things that I did, and some of you have already seen it, but I am a little anal, and with my goals that I have for myself, with my business, and doing this push group is also part of what part of my goals were to get back into being more of a leader, because I kind of fell off the wagon with that a little bit as I kind of let time and my health take me over a little bit, as I developed daily checklists for myself and time associated to it. So it just makes life, again, for me, it's about systems. So like, for example, I have my Sunday list, and I have post in my challenge group, how many minutes that takes, check in with all my challengers. I try to check in with all my challengers on Sundays, like, how was your week? That kind of thing. That will take about 15 minutes. My personal development, 15 minutes. Prep my posts for social media, because I'm guilty of not prepping those. I usually do them on the fly, and I need to get out of that habit, because sometimes I don't think them through as much. So that's like a goal of mine, and so I've broken it down by activity so that I don't end up on Facebook doing, oh, look what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, their Christmas, because that's what Facebook does. It's addicting. You start scrolling like, oh, their baby pictures are so cute. And then you scroll down, oh, that's a funny quote. I have, getting away from that. Doing it a little bit's okay, but it can, all of a sudden it'll be a half hour later and you're like, crap, what did I do? So it's really important to kind of think about those things that you're going to need to do. And we'll all get there, because that's the goal I have for all of you, is that we have a system for each of you based on your goals. So, sorry, I'm plugging something in. All right. I'm starting fresh. I need to be more focused and keep it to a schedule. Do you have an idea of what your schedule is going to look like, Stephanie?
Yeah, I've got to start getting some sleep. I can't stay up all night anymore, because I end up scrolling and not getting anything done. So I've got a schedule where everything's going to be scheduled. I'm going to have to do it in pockets though a little bit because of my work. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to work on trying to get some sleep too. I know that sounds silly, but I've got to get some sleep so I can be more organized. So that's a big goal.
Yeah, that's, you definitely, and I think part of you'll need to exactly know when you're going to work.
Yeah.
So that you don't put that into at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
goals that I sent you. So hopefully that's what I'm going to try to follow. I might have to tweak along the way, but that's where I'm starting with the goals. So
Mm-hmm.
hope.
Yeah. Sleep makes a big difference. I mean, when I'm sleep, I don't know about any of you, but when I'm sleep deprived, I'm like not efficient. I'm kind of like getting through the day when I'm tired. So that's an important one. So.
I don't need a lot of sleep.
Was that you, Stephanie? It cut you out for a second. That was you. Okay. You don't need a lot of sleep. It's just a matter of getting it in. You can get quality sleep. So that's good. Anyway.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've done this before. It's like just getting back on the horse, I guess. But when you're setting your goals, like say you want to hit Success Club 10, like what kind of things are you wanting us to do to break that down by a weekly or monthly, whatever?
If you want to hit Success Club 10, you definitely want to hit Success Club 5 by the 15th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you want to make it so that you're selling 1 to 2 challenge packs a week.
Okay.
That would be shooting it high. And then breaking it down to daily activities, you're sending, I mean, how many invites do you want to send a day? Like set a number for yourself, 5 invites per day, 2 friend requests a day, connect with 3 challengers a day or whatever, let's see, do 5 follow-ups a day. Like make a list of those activities that is going to lead to that. Set a number for yourself so that you have a goal every day that you can check off and be like, I did that. And your chances of reaching that goal is going to be a lot higher if you're keeping yourself accountable to those daily behaviors. Because again, like the 12-week, the whole point is so that we are not waiting till the end of the month. We are doing it every day because it just helps us stay a little bit more accountable. We'll reach our goals a lot faster. We can be a lot more efficient with our time too.
Now, when you were setting your goals, because this is kind of how I've done it in the past too, is like doing my bulk invites on the weekends. So like when you're taking your 2.5 hours on Saturday or Sunday, still doing most of my invites there, and then doing all follow-ups and that kind of thing, challenge groups and everything through the week. Is that still how you're running it, or are you still doing invites during the week?
I am doing invites during the week. I don't think it matters. If you're, whatever the end goal, let's say you want to get 30 invites during the week, if you're going to do it on a Saturday or spread it out through the week, I don't think it matters. So whatever works easiest for your schedule, because we all have different schedules. Like there might be some days where you literally have no time in the day and you're not going to get any invites in that day. So that would be a time where you would push those invites to another day. So I think it would just depend on your schedule. I'm going to try to stick to doing a little bit each day. And I have like a list of things I'm going to do every day. And if I stick to it, it shouldn't be too overwhelming, because I have gotten into that where I do all my invites on the weekend and then I'm spending so much time inviting that I'm like losing my zest for it. Like I want to be excited while I'm inviting. And when I'm like 30 invites in, I'm wondering if people can sense that I'm kind of like, okay, that's just me though. And I think we just kind of have to figure it out as our weeks go along. So, any other questions? So, okay. So goals this week, figure out your goals, figure out your schedule. And if you already are ahead of the game and have your goals, start working on your, like plugging it into your, like, what are your daily action items going to look like? Start working on that if you're already ahead of the game. Because I think as I'm looking at the people on here, probably half of you already have goals set. So start figuring out now what is this going to look like? And start kind of mapping that out. And then in the group, if I create this Facebook group tonight, throughout the week, you can start putting it in the group, and it will be a nice way for all of us to kind of see where each of us are at and what we're all doing. It'll give us ideas as well. I think it'll be a nice way for us to kind of work together a little bit more. All right, let's see. Anyone else have anything they want to share or questions? I thought
Sarah, I was just going to say, I think it's awesome. There are 16 people on this call.
yes, it is.
That's pretty cool. I don't have my board. It's in my bedroom
That's
where
right.
my girls are sleeping in my bed. I will say I did do my schedule today on Google Calendar because I have like all my calendars on there and I can see them at once, and I almost puked. Just looking at tomorrow. I don't know. I know what my goals are. I don't have the how yet because a lot of days I go from 4:30 to 10:30. I even scheduled in breaks, like a 5-minute break.
Now that 4:30 to 10:30, is that including Beachbody, or is that just like your family?
That includes Beachbody. No, Beachbody's like 9:30 to 10:30 power hour. My workouts are in the morning. My PD's in the morning. Challenge groups are in the morning. But I will say and this sounds bad, but I think it's really going to help me. I actually scheduled quality time with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I blocked off my hour. I scheduled my dinners. So I have all of that in there. And I do think I've been too accessible, if that makes sense, where my phone's right by me and the challenger will message me, or a coach will message me, or a prospect will message me, and I'm back with them within minutes. And I just can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be good with my calendar when I have quality time scheduled in. And I even sat down with my kids and showed them the calendar. I told them my phone goes away during these blocks of time. And they are pretty pumped about it. So, and I know they're going to hold me to it. But I just worry about the how. And I think that's where that list will come in handy, because I don't have a tracking system yet. That's one of my goals. I'm going to do that Team Z, I think.
$30 a month, though. I just looked into it. It's pretty cool.
I think it would be worth it. I feel like it's an investment. I haven't done anything for 19 months. So Stephanie just signed up for Team Z. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Anyway, I think the calendar was overwhelming. I am going to sit down every Sunday night and look at my schedule. And I scheduled everything, even those blocks of time. The only issue is I have no balance. Like, it's workouts, school, kids, Beachbody.
Like no balance, like in no time for you.
Well, right. But that's okay. I feel like I'm going to get there, because on my vision board, on my vision, I have time for a personal life. Right. I just don't have a personal life right now.
I don't think many of us do. But you know what? Maybe you could have a girls' night. I mean, I'm kind of local, so we can have like a wine night once a month. You know, like those are things you can do on the weekend. I don't think many of us have a life during the week either, though. So you're not alone. But I think it's smart. Melanie Mitro does that. She schedules out minute by minute her time with her kids, her whatever other things she's got going on, running her kids to school. She maps it out minute to minute, and it seems anal, but it makes her life so freeing. And then when you are with your kids, you're not thinking about, oh, I should be messaging that person. Or when you're working, you're not thinking, I really should be spending time with my kids. You know that you are doing all of it. And when you are working, you're working. I know some people do power pockets, and I think is a time and a place for it. And I think like Stephanie Mahalik, she was saying that she does, is that how you pronounce your last name, Stephanie Mahalik? I think she's freezing up. But anyway, I know that there's a time and a place for it, but I also have found, like, for me, when I do power pockets, I find like I'm on my phone all the time. When I just say I'm working for an hour and a half, I will just work for an hour and a half and get it done. And then I'm like, woo, I'm done for the day or whatever. But for me, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to try to plan out or at least have an idea what my posts are going to be for the following day so that I'm not like, because sometimes figuring out a post sometimes takes me 10 minutes. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm like, okay, what am I going to post about? And then I take a random picture of myself and then I'm dinking around with an app and one of my kids is like, mommy. And I'm like, I hate that. So that's a goal of mine is to plan them out so the next day I can just like boom, 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 boom. Or I might even set some of my posts so that I'm not doing that because that balance or, I mean, at least the balance with my kids, you know, because I think we all kind of struggle with that sometimes, like balancing that with we have kids. 3 to 5 posts per day. I think so. I think that's totally fine. I'm trying to read up some of these comments here. Social life, I need one. I know, it's hard when we have kids. Yeah, all good. I'm glad I'm not the only one with the posts. Sarah, you always have a really good post, though. I'm always like, oh, I should have thought of that. Super good. Yes, figuring out the topics, too. Yes, they do. Yeah, sometimes the best ones are on the fly. That's true. Yes, the posting calendar, I have actually printed out a posting calendar for myself. I was going to mention that to everyone. And that just gives me, like, here, I'll pull it down. I just printed it out, like, Monday. I have 5 posts on here. If I don't get 5, I'm not going to be a big deal. Like, you know, it just gives me a roundabout idea of things to, oh, I see someone else has one too. Cool. You know, like Motivate Monday, motivational quote, what are you doing now? Share a healthy recipe, workout photo, a challenge group invite. So those are like the 5. So when I'm like ready to post, I'm like, oh, you know, it gives me an idea right off the bat. So anyway, just something to think about. All right, cool. Yeah, I know. I hear ya, Stephanie. Okay. Anything else? So we're all good. We all know what we're going to do this week. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else with your daily, really quick, with your daily action items, they need to include invites. Okay. It can't be just your posting. It has to include invitations. It can't just be connecting, and connecting is super important. But when you start developing your action items for like day to day or week to week or whatever, however you're going to format it, it has to include conversations with people that include invitations, like inviting to a challenge group, inviting to a coaching opportunity. And you want to identify exactly how many per week that you're going to reach for. And I'm not trying to make this so ticky-tacky because we know, you know, Beachbody is something that we all love. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't love it, but we do have to be more specific so that we can reach those bigger goals and get to this vision that we developed for ourselves. But you have to include those invitations. You have to include, the coaching opportunity stuff. You have to include the posts, obviously product of the product. I don't think any of us have a problem with that. We all work out and drink Shakeology at varying levels. We have to do our personal development. And that's the easy one for me because I just listen to it in my car or on the way to work or whatever. So that's not really taking up any time. So it's got to include those. Just develop numbers for yourself that works for the time you've specified for yourself, your goals. So if you have gigantic goals, obviously you have to invite more. You know, you kind of have to think about where you're at with it and then go from there. So just want to plug that in there. So I will go ahead and create a Facebook group with all of you, add you in it. It's going to be super simple. I don't want it to be a stressor for anyone. I want it to be kind of a hub for us to communicate and add. So we're all, we will meet once a week on this Zoom call for accountability and for another action item. I will reach out with you privately on Saturdays so that you'll have that one-on-one time with me. As far as like helping you, like if you have questions, you can always ask along the week. It's not like Saturday has to be the day, but that's the day I'm going to reach out to you so that I am sure to talk to each of you. I'm not saying I have all the answers by any means because I'm working alongside with you, but just sort of to have, I might have some ideas for you and things like that. So, if we're all good, I will let you all go because I have to go tuck my kids in too. And I'll open that group up tonight and we'll be good to go. Just reach out to me if you need anything. So, all right, everyone, I'll see you next week, same time, same station, and have an awesome week. I'll talk to you soon.